All right, guys, we are back this time for a very special episode. I never thought I'd see the day. Conor McGregor fights in this weekend at UFC 329. Shane is here with me today, renowned UFC expert. How have you been, Shane? How's the UFC been treating you? Any thoughts on what we've seen the past couple weeks? Big
Been
ideas.
good.
Thanks for
Been
the shout out to Shane. He did the White House episode by himself, so appreciate that. First
yeah.
ever non-dubcast appearance of just a whole episode. So you're the first one to ever be on the dubcast without me being there. So there you go on that.
That is actually crazy. I didn't think about it like that, but I mean, it makes sense, And it was a time we needed, we needed to get takes in, even if my takes were pretty mid and ended up being wrong. But hey, we had to get something in the mix for the dub cast, for the dub family.
Respect.
Is that what your community's called, the Dub family, or
maybe we'll workshop that as we get
we'll
keep
workshop.
Going. We'll work on that. So obviously we had the White House. We had a decent fight card, I think, of the Torres and Fiziev, but we're headed now into
that was a really good fight card. I like that.
An action-packed summer where two of my favorites fight next weekend, Usman and DDP. But this video is all for Conor McGregor, Max Holloway, 2 at welterweight, and this is a stacked card, International Fight Week as well. I should mention that. So Here we go on UFC 329. How excited are you for this one?
I'm souped. I'm pretty sure. Since the last one, it was my birthday, and my mom's boyfriend got me these awesome cups from one of the bar. He just kept on ordering waters, so I have a bunch of plastic UFC New Amsterdam vodka cups, and I'm chilling. I'm ready. I'm going to be out in the wilderness for this fight card. Me and a bunch of my homies are camping and whitewater rafting. I'm trying to get them to get to a bar. It's literally my old crew from high school that we came to get, like, our big first time, like, getting together as a crew was the McGregor versus Mayweather boxing fight. And, like, so it's kind of a cool full circle moment. McGregor's back, and he's actually back this time. I mean, fingers crossed. We still got 3 days.
We got to knock on wood. We got to do everything.
For real. Like, it has all the things to be an amazing, amazing card. And I love, like, the prelims are great. The main card's great. I love these numbered cards that the UFC's been putting out. I felt a lot more full, They feel a lot more full.
And we're refreshed, the week off for 4th of July. We're ready to get back into the fight. So
true.
Exciting stuff. All right, we got UFC 329 in Las Vegas, in T-Mobile Arena, International Fight Week. And we start off with a sort of crafty matchup, 2 flyweights. We have Alessandro Costa and Cody Durden. So I'm not sure if we've spoken on Cody Durden before, but I feel like he's kind of a point of debate right now. Is he back after a win I think he got in his most recent fight, or has he kind of been fading out of the division in your eyes? And does that change Saturday night for you on this fight against Alessandro Costa? He's looking at a plus 200 right here.
Yeah, I think that this has been well, you have to realize this is very interesting because this isn't who Cody Durden was originally fighting. He was originally fighting Ode Osborne. And for Alessandro Costa to come up, and they're pretty, I would say that they're pretty different fighters, Ode versus Costa. And I think this is a correct line for it to show. I think Alessandro Costa is going to be the mountain that Cody Durden's going to have to climb. But I've been loving what he's been saying on Embedded and stuff. Well, I think they only showed him one time, but the one time he's like, "Yeah, dude, it's I'm on Conor McGregor's return fight and fight card, and that's who I watched growing up, and that is who I literally remember all the different phases in my life that I was in for each Conor McGregor fight, and I'm the same way. I'm like, that's like kind of how I milestone my different points in life is each Conor McGregor fight, and this is going to be another one. So like, I think with that, I'm kind of just been riding Cody Durden, just vibes based. I do think Alessandro Costa is probably the smarter bet, but I've been feeling Cody Durden, and that's going to be my pick for this fight.
So what was his stage for this Conor McGregor fight? Did he mention what he's feeling right now?
Yeah, he's just like, he was saying just how excited he is and like how big of an opportunity it is. And I think anyone who is that excited about, like, think about like all of the fighters, like the Mexican fighters for UFC Noche, who like when they kind of like feel the cards bigger than, maybe this is obviously a little bit different, but like it's a little bit bigger or even just the UFC Freedom last fight, last numbered card, where it kind of feels bigger than yourself, and I feel like you kind of go into that kind of feeling like you can't lose, and I feel like that's a tough person to beat. And I think Cody Durden, I haven't seen much about Alessandro Costa this fight week, so I don't know, I can't really input much about him, but Cody Durden, I've been loving his vibe, and I think that that's a good mental to have going into this.
Yeah, this is an interesting one. I think to at least start the card, the first fight, and I usually like to stay away, but this is we got some vets in here. I like Alessandro Costa. I feel like he's on a good run right now. He actually only fought a month ago, so I don't know how much your mileage may be around what you think of that. He fought on June 6th, but he's got the win over Kevin Borjas, who just pulled off a crafty win himself a couple weeks ago, and then he beat Stuart Nicol, who Stuart Nicol has kind of shown some competition, and then Matt Schnell has been kind of a punching bag, but I feel like this is that next sort of step for him. And this will tell us a lot about Cody Durden, whether he's done or not. He's lost a bunch in a row, and then now is he able to pull this one off. I'm just going to have to go with Alessandro Costa. And I know we don't usually like to bet the first one of the night, but I'm confident Alessandro Costa will pull this one off. I'm going to say Alessandro Costa gets the KO, like late round 2. Cody puts up maybe a crafty first round, gets him on the ground, something like that, but then Costa gets up, knocks him out in the second round.
Okay, I like that. I'm thinking with this one, probably Cody. If I'm putting all my eggs in the Cody Durden basket, I'm gonna go probably decision. But if I was going Costa, I like him for KO. I really do. I think that's going to be hopefully pretty decent money with how close the line is, even though it's not like that close. But I don't think Alessandro Costa specifically by knockout, I think shouldn't be too bad a value.
Yeah, we can take a quick look. So he is plus 180 by knockout. It's not a bad number there.
That's really good value. Good.
All right. Continuing on with the early prelims, we have another one at middleweight. This one is between Ryan Gandra and Zachary Reese. So what pops into your head when you hear this fight between these two middleweights?
I mean, I see Zachary Reese is kind of, it feels a little bit lamb to the slaughter to me. Like, and the lines are way too close. Like, get your money on Ryan Gandra with like real deal pumpkin meal and get that on a KO if you want to sweeten the deal. I really do think that this is like in my opinion, just a great, like, and I nothing against Zachary Reese. I think he's very entertaining, but he has a tough time finding the win a lot. Like,
it's been rough for him.
It's been rough over these past few, and so I think a guy like Gandra who's been on a run, been on a tear, is great value here for minus 130.
I completely agree, and we are filming this on Wednesday night, so who knows? The numbers are a little weird. We'll definitely get into some odds later on that maybe are a little bit crazy, but we'll get to that when we get to it. But I'm with you. I think Gandra by knockout. I think this is kind of the not like this is kind of like the heightened like a Teba Gutierrez experience where it's like, all right, here's Zachary Reese. Like, how long is it going to take you to knock him out?
Yeah,
to see him at plus 110, I don't really know what that's all about. This guy's losing split decisions to Michel Pereira. His only real win of note is like Jackson McVeigh, who I think should be like kicked out of the sport. So I don't know. I don't know what the odds are. That is a little concerning just from a Vegas perspective, but it should be free money on Gandra. I agree. And him by knockout is minus 105. That's what I'm going to be looking at. Gandra by knockout. And you think the same?
Yeah. Gandra by knockout. I think I probably will be just a little bit safer and go Gandra just straight up. But for the people, yeah, Gandra by knockout.
All right. Yeah, minus 105. Decent odds on that one for a method. And we'll go to bantamweight now, where we have the number 15th ranked bantamweight, Farid Basharat, facing UFC newcomer John Garza. This was supposed to be Ethan Ewing, which would have been a super interesting matchup. Unfortunately, Ethan Ewing has an injury, and Garza is here. I believe this was the last couple of days or so. Garza's thrown in there, so not sure if you follow Fury FC at all, but this is where Garza's from, and I mean, it's kind of hard to predict what happens in these fights. We don't usually like to take too big of chances on the super big favorites. So is there, or is it the reverse of when you see, okay, John Garza, UFC newcomer, he's going to come in here and be the first one to beat for Farid Basharat? What do you think?
I think that is it's tough because everything in me wants to say Farid Basharat blows this, but I just don't think it's going to happen because it would just be a crazy story for John Garza to just come in and get a win like that. It would be a crazy story. It would be Ethan Ewing-esque.
Exactly.
So, you know what? I think that, I think I just convinced myself, especially with all that money, like just throw it on John Garza. I wish I threw some money on Ethan Ewing. I should have, but I didn't. And I think that this is, I now just convinced myself. And you said it earlier, I am so sad that that the fight with Ewing got canceled. I really wanted to see that matchup because I want to see Ewing in the ranks, and I'm
Ewing
excited
looked
for
great.
this.
He beat an unbeaten guy. I forget who it was in his last fight too, so that would have been super interesting. But
exactly. So
we got John Garza early prelims. So I'll go with Farid Basharat, maybe by like a split decision. I think maybe he's going to take it a little lightly. And, we tend to see these guys who come in the UFC and have all these knockout wins and whatever, kind of take it slow to start. So I could see like a John Garza maybe. Well, actually, sometimes they're coming off the sauce and they don't get the proper drug test. Maybe John Garza, I don't know how much that'll impact you at bantamweight, but maybe John Garza has like a great first round, like a Carlos Leal, or that type of thing in his first fight, or maybe he kind of mucks it up. So I see kind of that sort of playing out here. But I will go with Farid Basharat to continue the unbeaten streak. I don't see him losing to John Garza on Saturday. I'll go Basharat by decision. How does John Garza pull this one out?
That is a great question because I am very much not familiar with this game. But I mean, let me take a quick gander really quickly.
I also feel like, I don't know if this is maybe a take you can analyze, but I feel like when they have the undefeated fighters, they tend to go that way when it goes down to a decision. So,
100%. I don't think he ends up winning this by decision. I mean, he's never lost it. He's only lost by KO, and he has 3 KOs, 1 sub, 2 decision wins, and only 1 loss. Like, I feel like that's all the makings for just a Ethan Ewing SKO. Or like a crafty submission, like not a crafty submission, but like a kind of like an just like he kind of stumbles after punches, stumbles into a submission, and I could see it going. I could see that. I could see that happening. I think this could be a Ethan Ewing-esque win, which would just suck for Farid Basharat.
Hey, it happens. Elliot Tapiro, we've been saying he lost his first fight. Nobody's perfect in this world, so.
That's true.
If you lose, you lose. All right. Well, we've got another one at middleweight. Damian Pinas versus Cesar Almeida. The odds on this one surprised me a little bit. I thought that'd be a little bit closer, just because I feel like Cesar Almeida has a pretty good resume, just looking at it. But I don't know if there's any, kind of difference here where I don't know. I mean, I did watch this Pinas' last fight against Wes Schultz, and he completely beat the shit out of Wes Schultz. But Wes Schultz is like, probably shouldn't be in the UFC. I don't know. I don't want to ever be mean and call out fighters because they'd all beat my ass, whatever. But I feel like that win didn't tell me a lot. But he is a Dana White Contender Series guy. Got the first round knockout in 2 minutes in his first UFC real fight. So it's going to be an interesting one to watch here against Cesar Almeida, who's been kind of hanging around for a little bit. And has decent wins, has some losses too, but who knows? What do you think of this one?
Now, Damian Pinas is one of the people who does. I don't know if you ever look at Tapology for these fights, but he's one of the people on the strength of schedule score. He's a 1. Cesar Almeida is only a 15, but I mean, like Damian Pinas is probably going to still dog walk him. Like I just think the strength of schedule isn't great, and I don't think this is enough of a step up to really stop him. I think again though he has been beating the shit out of everyone. Like nothing to do with his talent. I think his talent's there. I just want to see it against someone real. And Cesar Almeida is a crafty. I don't know if you really would consider him like a vet, but like. He's pretty crafty, and I feel like he's pretty seasoned. I feel like he's learned a lot from when he lost to Roman Kopylov and then came back. Those 2 wins that he came back with against Poteria and Abdul, like those are pretty good. And then he lost to Ola Jacek, which isn't a terrible loss.
Yeah, it's actually Cesar Okalajic, so I don't know. That guy's actually maybe even better than his brother. I guess there's 2 now. I didn't even know that.
I didn't realize that was a different one.
Yeah, I don't know. He's a part of the Fighting Nerds. So I'm guessing they're brothers or cousins or something, but obviously same last name. So yeah, I don't know. Break down what does a 1 on the strength of schedule mean versus like a 15?
So I mean, we'll just say the highest person on, like, I wish they broke it down more as to what, because I don't agree with the total amount of these, but like for instance, Max Holloway's strength of schedule is 68.
Okay.
Like Corey Sandhagen's is 67. Paddy Pimblett's is 44. Benoit's is 51. Brandon Royval is only 57, which I think is kind of crazy, but flyweight division is pretty deep, so I can kind of get that. Rob Whittaker's 65, but he's fighting at a new weight, so that's I'm very excited for.
Yeah,
we'll talk about that later, but
we will.
Yeah, it's I don't know exactly. It's probably some AI bull hockey about how it gets there, but I think the strengths of schedule, at least from the 2 polar sides of like people with like, I would say under like maybe like 10 strength of schedule, that's pretty accurate to someone who hasn't really been tested in deep waters, and someone like over like a 50 has been. So yeah, I'm still going Pinas, but I'm probably not going to throw any. I'm probably not going to parlay this. This would probably just be a Pinas by KO.
Yeah, I'm thinking the same thing. Pinas by KO. I'm looking at the under 1.5 is -110. I feel like that could be pretty good because both these guys do like to get some knockouts and throw fast. So it could be like a quick first round either way. But I will say Pinas by knockout in the first round. We'll go with that for the official pick. Moving on, we have our only women's bout of the evening. It's Tracy Cortez versus Wang Cong, both ranked in the flyweight division. Dead even on the odds as of right now, both -110. I feel like we've definitely talked about Wang Cong in the past, but your thoughts on this one? Is the kind of middle of the flyweight division does battle here? What do you think? What do you see playing out?
I think that this is a very interesting fight. Because Tracy Cortez, she's only lost to great fighters. Like she's her actually I forget her third loss. But as I think that she's top tier in terms of the flyweight division, and I think she's got what it takes to defend Wang Cong. But Wang Cong also has she kind of has the punching power for that weight class, where she only really needs to catch her once. However, Wang Cong has been just a big parlay buster of mine recently. When I bet on her, she
only has one loss.
Well, it was just that one loss that really deterred me from her, and then I bet against her, and so be it. And I think I bet against her in the original Road UFC fight or something. But I don't know. I've always been very skeptical of Wang Cong, and you know me. I love Asian fighters. I love their fighting style. Like the Japanese fighters, the Chinese fighters, they're some of my favorite fighting styles. I don't know what it is about it. I think it's the fact that they all are very there's not much shit talk. They're all very respectful. And that's what I like about Yuri too. He doesn't really shit talk unless he gets pissed. Sometimes he'll pop some shit when he gets pissed. But let's not diverge too much. I just don't know why I don't like Wang Cong that much. I think she's a little bit cringe, and I think
you don't like the Joker.
I don't know. At first, when she first was coming in and she was coming up on the road to UFC, I was like, okay, this is cool. This is something for the division to like hype it up. But like then like I saw her do that shit and she lost, and then keep doing it after. I'm like, I don't know. I feel like once you lose once, you drop the shtick and you just become a real person. I haven't caught up with her though that much. Like I used to, when she was in Road to UFC and stuff, I would follow all of the Road to UFC and like all those fighters, and I just haven't really caught up to how she's been like training and stuff recently, and who she's training with, and how she's been like exactly how she's been training. So I don't know how this will go. I do think that she has the puncher's chance, but I think Tracy Cortez at minus money against someone as green, as fresh as Kong, I would say that's pretty easy money. I would parlay this one. I wouldn't even. I don't like picking a method for this one personally. I know what your method's going to be, but
come on, it's key.
This one's a parlay adder. This one's one that I'm confident enough to put in a parlay and doesn't have the odds enough where I would want to just take straight money. I think this one is one that I'll throw in a tiny parlay.
Yeah, I mean, looking at this one, I agree with most of what you said. I am a little sketched out by Wang Kong. She missed weight in her last fight as well. I think Tracy Cortez has just been there, fought the better competition. But if I bet on Tracy Cortez, I know she'd somehow lose this. But so I'm gonna keep that to the side. But my official pick would be Tracy Cortez by decision, and I think this is gonna go the distance. Only minus 245 for this one. So for my people who've been following along with the women's fights to go the distance, not too terrible odds on that one right there. I know Wang Kong, I think, has gotten some knockouts herself, but Tracy Cortez, I think her last 11 fights, at least 10 of them have gone. I think she got submitted in her last fight. But we're going with to go the distance, minus 245. And if I was forced to pick, I'd pick Tracy Cortez.
Yeah, I love that.
All right.
I love that.
We've got a featherweight matchup. It is Luke Riley versus Kai Kamaka III. So Luke Riley has been a recent sort of addition to the UFC. He's been kind of doing his thing a little bit here and there. I know he just came off a win in March. Talk to me a little bit about Kai Kamaka III, because I didn't know anything about this guy, which is surprising at this point. I've been keeping up with the sport for 2.5 years. What do you have on him? He's been kind of, well, I guess he was in the UFC in 2020, left, and now he's back.
So not to cut you off, but I'm not super familiar with him either. But he is another fighter out of Hawaii. This is kind of like someone from Paddy Pimblett's camp and someone that's not. I don't know if he's in Max Holloway's camp, but he's at least Max Holloway adjacent by being from Hawaii, so it's kind of cool. But Kai Kamaka does obviously have some tough losses, and yeah, I don't believe in him enough for this to be, because Luke Riley has been on a pretty good tear, and he's looked pretty awesome the whole way through. I liked how him and Launer, I feel like we're coming up at kind of the same time, and I kind of like them both. They're very similar, but not at the same time. Launer's been obviously coming up more, but when I started taking note of Launer, Luke Riley was on, I feel like, some of the cards. So they're similar to me. They're both English fighters. They have the bangs, and he's interesting. I don't like betting on this fight personally, but I would go with Luke Riley. I
agree. I'm more confident. I think Luke Riley does win this fight. I can't trust those Bellator and PFL guys. I need to see them do a little bit more. I guess Kai Kamaka did just win a fight in February or in April, but I don't know. I feel like this is going to be Luke Riley's time to shine on the same card as Paddy Pimblett. Maybe they get some synergy going later on. We'll talk about that fight, but I feel like this might be a little moment to shine for Luke Riley. I think he gets Kai Kamaka out of there. I don't know how. I would guess decision if I had to be forced to choose one, but I think this could be like a 29-28 across the board, but Luke Riley looks good, and maybe Kamaka has some form in the third round, that type of fight. But I'm going to go with Luke Riley by decision.
Yeah, I really like that. I would go. Yeah, as a single leg, there's probably some really decent money with Riley by KO, and I could see some ground and pound win. I could see a ground and pound win here for sure.
Okay, well, we can take a look for you. Middle of the card, we got Luke Riley by KO is plus 215.
Yeah, that's not bad.
That ain't bad.
I could see that very similar to like the Brogdon fight, or the Bogdan Grod fight, where he kind of just got him on the ground and then, or got him with the left hook, stunned him, and then just on the ground punches. I could totally see Kamaka going down like that.
All right. Well, we have a bantamweight fight as well. Cody Garbrandt facing off against Adrian Yanez. What do we think? Cody Garbrandt, is it over for Cody, or is he going to have those flash in the pan performances? I remember his last fight against the Zhao Long was one of the craziest fights I've ever watched. He shouldn't have even won that fight, but he won because Zhao Long had 2 points taken from him by Herb Dean due to the nut kick. So what do you think about this one? We have Adrian Yanez. He's been around for a while. How do you see this one playing out?
Yeah, that Cody Garbrandt win was crazy. That was when he was throwing up in the thing, right?
Oh, yeah, on the stool, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, dude. As I think everyone knows, it's tough betting on this dude, man. It is so tough betting on him. So I'm personally staying. You know what? I'll be watching it with friends. It might be funny just to throw like $1 on Cody Garbrandt. KO.
So just to have a rooting interest in it?
Yeah, just to have a rooting interest. Nothing against Adrian.
I think these odds are a little disrespectful. I mean,
well, I think that they're honest. It might be disrespectful, but I think it's honest.
I feel like by Saturday the public number might come in on Cody, and this like you could get Yanez at like 300 or something like that. True.
It could bring it down for sure.
Yeah, this is one I'm just steering clear of. I feel like I have no idea what to do with Cody Garbrandt. It's hard to predict what will happen to him. But if I was forced to make a pick, which we are this cast, I would go with Yanez to win by KO, maybe like a late ground and pound situation, like third round. Cody has like one exchange where everyone's like, holy shit, Cody Garbrandt, what could have been? It's pretty much happens in like all of his fights, but he did not inspire much confidence in his last fight. And I'd be happy to be proven wrong. He's 35. This could be it, the last couple of years of his career. But I think Adrian Yanez will go right through him and get that knockout in the third round after some damaging blows in like the second or early third, something like that. So we'll go with Adrian Yanez by third round knockout. What do you think?
Yeah, I like that. I think betting against whoever, or betting for whoever's facing Cody Garbrandt and betting the knockout is usually pretty decent. I'm sure that public number will go up even more too, just specifically Adrian by knockout. But I would just not be surprised. This is kind of one of the fights that I'm a little bit less excited for. Cody Garbrandt's name is obviously very bittersweet for UFC fans, because it was just like a really cool time in the UFC watching MMA, like watching the UFC when that whole Cody Garbrandt Team Alpha Male versus Dillashaw versus Dominic Cruz thing was like going down. That was crazy. I wasn't super tapped in at that point, but like go watch. There's some good like YouTube documentaries about it. I would definitely recommend. Like Cody Garbrandt, it's sad to see, but
if Cody were to win this fight, how do you think he can pull it off?
I could see him win by KO.
Okay.
I could see him win by KO as well. If I was to, I think I would just take a money line just in case he gets kicked in the nuts again or something. But yeah, I think KO could happen. I don't think a decision will happen because he's going to get hurt way too much. He's going to get rocked way too much, or not like actually KO'd out of it. So, and I definitely don't think a submission. I don't think I've ever seen Cody Garbrandt really lock in a decent submission unless I'm mistaken. But
yeah, he hasn't been submitted or had a submission win. So
no, he's been submitted by Figueiredo.
Oh, he was really?
Yeah.
All right. Well, maybe Adrian Yanez could pull this off the same way.
It was UFC 300. But Figueiredo's.
That was a submission? I don't remember that one to the distance. But all right. Well, we wish the best to Cody, but we won't be betting on you.
Yeah.
Moving ahead to quite possibly the biggest odds I've ever seen, at least filming videos. Gable Steveson makes his UFC debut against Elisha Ellison at minus 2,800. Now, I'll defer to you. I feel like you've wrestling background. I don't know how much you keep up with wrestling nowadays, but this is a big one. I remember back when good guy, bad guy was a thing. I remember DC and Chael mentioned Gable Steveson, and it was just a matter of if not, or when not if he was coming to the UFC. Here he is. Originally, this was like the Bo Nickal spot. They were going to give him a main card fight on the Conor McGregor International Fight Week, but they move him down. He's not even the feature prelim. He's the second prelim. But tell me all about Gable Steveson. Is the hype real, or is this going to be a potential, Raoni Barcelos versus Peyton Talbot, Juliana Pena versus Amanda situation here that we could potentially get rich on?
Okay. You can get rich on anything. Anything can happen in the cage. But the hype is real about Gable Steveson. I mean, like, he was one of the big names when I really started tapping into NCAA wrestling. And, like, it was like him and Bo Nickal. And I really love his wrestling style as a heavyweight. He's very active, he's very shifty, and it's going to be crazy punches mixed in. I only really saw the highlights of his wins in the MMA, but if you can just piece that together, it's heavyweight. I mean, he can make it work. Like, especially for the first 5 fights of his career, unless they really bump him up quick to
even he could go on a hockey level run, but he's
exactly
younger, right?
Yeah, exactly. He's 26, I believe.
Okay, he's not a little bit older than I thought, but
obviously he's got some skeletons in the closet. If you don't know that, look up the Gable Steveson loophole. But it makes it tough to really put it all behind him, because I don't like the stuff that I've heard about him, but he is an amazing wrestler and he is an amazing fighter from the little bits that I've seen. And I think if he really works on making his character right in the UFC, because I've never really seen someone come into this with so much hate, like a pretty decent amount of hate as a UFC debutant. And it's kind of something that I just am like, I want to see him be able to revive his career in a sense, not revive, but revive his public opinion. And I think it's tough when you have something like that on your record, but we'll see. I mean, in the sport, it is tough. There are a lot of people's like the main event that it's hard to really fully back them, even if they are amazing fighters and have this cool kind of aura and character. Outside, their real personalities kind of shine, and it kind of sucks. Like some of the greatest fighters in the world are usually not that great of people, and that part sucks. I think Gable Steveson has a chance, or is kind of at a really uphill battle, and I would love to see what he does with this, because I wonder if he's just gonna not really talk about it and just kind of move forward, or if he's going to try to be up front and be like, hey, this happened and I'm a better person for it. I was a bad guy, but I'm a better person now type thing. If that's what I see, that's what I would love to see. And I would love to see him stick to it, obviously, because John Jones did a lot of talking about, and that's his teammate. John Jones did a lot of talking about.
No, brother.
Hey, I fucked up this time, guys, but I promise I'm going to just keep God first and keep on moving forward and only focus on fighting, man. I'm only going to focus on fighting from here on out. And then how many times has he done some crazy shit since that? Like, each time he has the same apology, same sort of thing. And I want Gable Steveson to learn from that and go into this and just keep a clean figure. Like, you just gotta be a normal person, which I know is tough when you're putting your body through this crazy shit. But like there is a majority, like a decent amount of fighters that are just pretty normal people. Like, I don't know, be better. But obviously, I'm not betting on this shit. I might throw like a fucking 25 cents on Ellison just to see if it fucking hits, just to be part of the people.
Well, here's my thing with this. So obviously, you've convinced me Steveson probably wins this, but Ellison, he has one fight in the UFC, and he lost to Brando Pericic, who Brando Pericic has looked like pretty good in these last couple of fights. I think he got a big win on that JDM Praches card, and Pericic is on the rise, so that's his only UFC opponent. I don't personally see that. I think this is way too wide. But yeah. I'll trust your word that Gable Stevenson's like this all-time potential. He's undefeated. Granted, it's 3-0, but he's a wrestler. He might get the Benoit treatment, and there must be something here, because I feel like even just based off of all that, like minus 2,800, I've never seen a number that high. So we'll see if that.
You have to realize with the Benoit stuff, this is in heavyweight. All right, there's no RDR that's going to sneakily come up and hit him with that in the like top. What was RDR ranked then? Like maybe top. I think he was
like probably around like 10 to 15.
Yeah, the top 10 to 15. Like you don't want to. You don't want to compare those two, because the heavyweight division is so shallow. I mean, look at Josh Hogan's run up. Like it was easy cake. Like he made Curtis Blades look easy, which like Curtis Blades has been for the longest time, and he is getting older. And
I don't know if that was easy, but he won handily, but that was a scrap. It
was a scrap. Okay, it wasn't a scrap. You're right. I am talking out my butt, but he was clearly in the driver's seat.
Yeah.
Against someone who is like he is. I don't know even how to scrap, like kind of Max Holloway before he moved to lightweight kind of thing, or kind of when he moved to lightweight too, like where he kind of was just, he is a tough guy to get past, and he was like that for the longest time at heavyweight division, and he was the big telling stone, and I still think he can be. Maybe Josh Hoka is really him, but I don't know. I'm just not a Josh Hoka believer, and I think Gable Steveson, I would love to see that matchup. Oh my god,
we could be talking about that in like a year. I feel like
hype versus hype. Oh my, I don't think Josh Hogan takes that fight. I don't think he takes that fight, at least for the first while. And I know that Josh Hogan is an NCAA wrestler. I'm not. Before the comments go crazy, I know that he fucking.
But that armbar, I don't know.
That was insane, dude. Oh my god, that was so stupid, dude. I was love and hate watching that whole card at the same time, because I was just like, why the fuck is this on a Sunday? I have to be up at 4 a.m. tomorrow morning, and like fucking like, but like still like, oh my god, this is awesome. This is a crazy bunch of fights that we have in front of us, and fucking Josh Hogan did that, and then of course had the craziest moment on the mic.
Yeah, we can skip past that, but
yeah. I agree.
All right, let's circle back to Gable Steveson. So how do you think this fight goes? How does this fight end? Does he get a submission? Does he get a knockout? Or is it going to be one of those like, oh shit, we went to decision accidentally? Yeah, heavyweight.
I won't bullshit the audience. Again, I haven't seen. I've seen a decent, almost all of his wrestling. Like when it came to like the actual championships and stuff, or even the brackets going up to them. I watched a lot of that when he was in college. I did not watch a ton of his MMA stuff. So what I will say is, I won't say what I think will happen. I won't say what I want will happen, because this is a tough one for me to bet on. Regardless, I want a Gable Steveson sub. All right.
Okay.
I think KOs, especially those KOs from Bonical early on, were just kind of. I don't want to say like cheap, or I definitely don't want to say faked, but it just, something about them were just kind of, I loved when he wrestled. I loved when Bonical got into like those Cody Brundage ass, like fucking slamming into each other. And I want to see Gable Steveson do that to the heavyweight division, but just run it through Chimaev style, kill everybody, submission everybody, maybe ground and pound if someone's really not giving up their neck. But I just want, I would love to see Gable Steveson run through this like he's fucking, oh my god, a submission art. Fuck Charles Oliveira. I was thinking of someone else that I cannot remember. Oh my god, I can't think of it. But I want to see him submission artist. I want to see Brian Hall. I'm pretty sure that was his name. I want to see that.
Well, Vegas disagrees with you. They got Gable Steveson by knockout minus 300.
That's what's
And
gonna
then
happen.
Gable Steveson plus 240. But all right, you're going with Gable Steveson sub. I think Gable Steveson knockout in the second round. It takes him kind of a round to get his bearings in the UFC. I think that we see that happen. So maybe second round, Ellison survives the second round, and it's just a Gable Steveson, kind of Bo Nickal versus Cody Brundage type fight ending up there. All right, big one right there. But we keep moving to the light heavyweight division, where Robert Whittaker makes his light heavyweight division debut. We saw Paulo Costa at the two pay-per-views ago make his light heavyweight debut and make mincemeat of Mirzakhanov. And now it's Robert Whittaker's turn as a slight favorite against the number 12th ranked Nikita Krylov. One of the tougher fighters to bet on, Nikita Krylov. I feel like every time I've watched him, he's been knocked out in the first round, and then he kind of had that weird fight against Modestas Bukauskas where it was a very boring striking and clinch match. So it's kind of hard to predict what you're going to get out of Nikita Krylov. But how do you see this going for Bobby Knuckles in the new division? Is this going to be someone you can beat, or is this kind of like a litmus test that he might not be able to get past with his kind of aging career at this point?
I'm really excited for this. I think that this is a great move for him, and I think that this is going to be an exciting watch for the fans. I don't think Robert Whittaker will look as unk as people think. I think he will look pretty good, and I think that the fight that's going to be made right after this, I think Robert Whittaker would have to win, but I would love to see Robert Whittaker versus Paulo Costa, two former middleweights.
They fought before, right? I think beat him.
Yeah, I believe so. And that's just what I kind of would love to see that as a different fight now. And yeah, he did beat decision Paulo Costa.
Up a weight class.
Yeah, that would be cool. I think that would be cool. I think his punching power is going to be a lot heavier. I think him moving up a weight class pushes his kind of clock to go into retirement a lot further down the line. I think if he was to stay at middleweight, his clock was kind of up. I think he would have had to kind of call it quits.
Yeah, he'd already fought the who's who, and I mean,
exactly.
He wasn't getting chances. He lost to Renier, who's now kind of fading down the middleweight division. But
I agree, and that's why I think this is going to be an awesome fight to watch. I think he has a lot to prove, and I think he has all of his embedded wise, guys. He has 6 kids, and they're all for the first time all with him for fight week.
Oh shit!
So, I had no idea he had 6 kids. I was like, damn, his family's insane, and he brought them all. I think it was 6 months to 11 years. That's the age gap between all 6 of them, which is crazy.
Yeah, for me, I feel like Krylov's been a guy who's been sort of fading, and he got his win against Modestas Bukauskas. I feel like his kind of losing streak will just continue after that. And I don't really rate. I mean, Bukauskas, I feel like I don't rate him that high. I think I remember thinking Krylov would get Bukauskas out of there. So I think we're going to go with Whittaker here as well. I want to see. I feel like Whittaker winning is more interesting, just because Krylov has fought most of the top of the division, hasn't really done much against the true level of the competition. So I'm going to go with Whittaker. Maybe by second round knockout. Maybe try I feel like that's the theme of this card for me is finding their place in the first round and then kind of getting to where they want to be in the second round. But we'll go with Whittaker by second round knockout. He shows he's got that power. He gets to move up in the division. He gets probably another ranked fight and goes on a little run here at light heavyweight. I just feel like Whittaker, he's fought the who's who of that division.
Yeah.
He has some wins, he has some losses, but he knocked out Alessandro, which is a crazy knockout. Alessandro just got a dominant win 2 weekends ago. So
True.
That was only a year or two ago. So I'm going with Whittaker by second round knockout over Nikita Krylov. What's your official predict, Sean?
I really like that. I honestly will probably just tail Robert Whittaker round 2 knockout. I really do like that for some reason. It's kind of, I can totally see that happening. The only other thing that I would maybe go with is Robert Whittaker round 1.
Okay, instant, yeah.
I think his punching power is going to be something to be excited about again. And I wonder, I would think his gas tank would be better, although I don't think he wants to go to the distance. I think he wants to show off the power the power that he had, and I'm excited to see this.
So Robert Whittaker, first round is plus 450, second round plus 650. So
you got to go for the more money too. And round 2 is the one that I believe in more.
Something to keep out there for the folks betting at home. All right, we've traversed our way all the way to the main card, and what a fun one to start us out. We have King Green versus Terrence McKinney, and we have to start this off with Terrence McKinney has not had a single fight go to the judges' scorecards. Will this be the one? That's the one. That's the question everyone's asking. Obviously, not. This is not going to go, but
yeah,
no shot. But will this fight make it 2 minutes? I think is the better question. King Green versus Terrence McKinney. King Green, say what we will about him. He's been on a little bit of a run here, but he does like to fight with his hands down. I can see that being a potential problem here with McKinney trying to jump him early on. I'm more leaning towards, King Green. It's been a respectable run. Jeremy Stephens retired right after the fight. Zellhuber was kind of proven to be a fraud. So I'm trusting in Terrence McKinney here to get this done. But this will be an absolute scrap that you have to be locked in for the 3 minutes that it lasts, no matter who comes out on top. I'm just siding with Terrence in this one.
Yeah, I agree. I totally see King Green doing that kind of, just kind of backing up, kind of Anderson Silva, like when Anderson Silva got knocked out by Chris Weidman type thing, where he's just kind of showing off how much he can slip the punches.
Didn't that happen against Hoofy, and then he just got faced that
also kick? Happened with Hoofy and someone else, I'm pretty sure. Another just comical. I think it was a knockout from punches. But I don't know. This fight is one that has been kind of like the fans' fight. Like everyone's been kind of really all the fans have been really promoting this fight more so than the UFC. The UFC kind of here and there, but I feel like the fans love this matchup. They're 2 fan favorites. They're 2 people that are very much in the online space, especially Terrence McKinney. Like he's always on some shit. He's a funny follow, by the way. If you don't have T-Rex on IG, get that follow because he's a good follow. And Bobby King Green has bad blood going into this, which is really funny because they were hanging out apparently a week before the fight was not announced. A week before it was originally brought to them. They were hanging out. And so, and King Green, who learned from Nate Diaz that you don't fight friends, you don't make fights with your homies, was pissed that Terrence McKinney even was like, yeah, I mean, it'd be good money for us. We could maybe do it. And then, so now the rest is history. So King Green has a chip on his shoulder, which I think will kind of hurt him. I don't love when King Green fights with a chip on his shoulder. I feel like that's usually when he gets fucked up. I feel like the times when he wins, maybe I'm wrong here because I'm trying to think of the vibe he had going into that Zellhuber fight. I feel like it was actually, I don't know.
Yeah, I can't remember that. It was probably a cold February night. Yeah.
But regardless, I just want to see him. I want to see this fight regardless because it's going to be a banger. It's going to be magic, and I just want to see what happens. I don't want to bet on it either, except for under time. Maybe bet
under's like insane.
It's like minus 1,000.
It's like minus 425 to go under 1.5 rounds.
Yeah, maybe not then. Maybe not. Maybe throw that in a parlay if possible, just the rounds. But yeah, I wouldn't. I don't.
My rule is nothing over minus 400 anymore after the big incident of 2024. 2025. But yeah, I think Terrence McKinney gets this one done. I don't see this making it to the second round. I got Terrence McKinney by first round. It's either going to be a knockout or he stuns him and then gets the easy sub. But I'll just say knockout for the more cinematic
King
purposes.
Green's doesn't really stay in there. Once he's out, he's pretty much out.
Yeah, we'll go with Terrence McKinney first round knockout. What are you thinking?
I really like that. I think, not the only way that I see King Green winning, because I could see him winning a bunch of ways, is he's got to be the aggressor. I think him playing on the back foot early on is just playing into Terrence McKinney's game. I think the way that you combat Terrence McKinney is by going in there and chinning him yourself, like literally knocking him out first round yourself, throwing the punches first, being there first. And I just want to see that happen. I kind of want to now that I'm saying I am talking myself into wanting to see a King Green win. Betting on it, I just don't know. I'll stick with under on rounds even if it's minus 450.
All right.
But yeah, I want to see King Green be the aggressor because Terrence McGinney's never seen the distance, so see what it's like when he's on the back foot, which is hard easier to say than do.
Yeah, that's going to be a hard task for King Green, but we'll see. Some fireworks on the main card opener. Continuing on, somebody you mentioned, Loner Kavanaugh, moves up a lot here in the flyweight division. We saw him kind of destroy Brandon Moreno. Almost, I don't know if you were watching that fight, but he basically had him dead to rights the whole third to fifth round. Wasn't able to put him out, but did get that big win. So do you think this is a step up for Loner? Is this kind of the same sort of fight where, Royval's been on a little bit of a trajectory of his own, had that war against Van, and then got knocked out by Kopp. So kind of interesting run for Royval leading up to this fight. He's got to face the new names in the division because he's already faced the top of the division a bunch of times. And he's kind of that UFC vet underdog where, Loner Kavanaugh has the loss to Charles Johnson. Is he really truly it, or is Moreno's kind of fading?
Does Vaughn. So does Van.
Yeah. It's a weird dynamic here. What do you think? How do you see this one playing out?
I think Royval, well, first off, Royval is a very, very similar fighter to Brandon Moreno. They're very similar fighters. Flyweight has a decent amount. A lot of fighters are very well-rounded, but I feel like those two specifically are just almost not identical because no fighter's really identical, but very similar fighters. And I just find it the only way that I see Loner losing is by being too confident or being too arrogant, I guess. Not so much confidence, but arrogance. He just needs to do exactly what he did with Moreno, and I think that literally gets him the dub here. I don't really see what Royval does to pivot and catch Loner, but I could be wrong here. And the Raw Dog is sick. I do love Brandon Royval. He's a very cool fighter, awesome mentality, awesome person, and a fan-friendly fight style. His past. I don't really remember the Kopp fight, but his past 4 fights other than that, since I forget who's before Tyra. I think that might have been Pantoja. But the Tyra on, oh my God, I've been loving this Royval. So I love the plus money. So you know what? I will throw it on Royval, but honestly, as a thinking man, I do think Loner's got this, and I think it would be a Royval decision if a gun was put to my head.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think Royval by decision. Will I actually place the money on Royval? I don't know, but I feel like this could be a fraud check for Loner. I feel like he's moving up a bunch, and Moreno was able to survive, so I could see maybe Loner Kavanaugh is in their first round, has a great first round, but then Royval is able to kind of rein it in more, a little bit like we've seen. Not to call out Moreno and saying he has a weak chin, but Royval was able to kind of rein it in against Vaughn and keep that fight going. Obviously, he was just knocked out by Kopp, so I don't know what I'm saying, but I feel like Royval will keep this one going. Maybe a slow start for both of them, or Loner starts out strong, but then Royval gets the second and third round, and then he wins maybe split decision, maybe a close decision. But I don't know. I'm not inspired fully yet by Loner Kavanaugh. Maybe it's been too long since I saw that fight against Brandon Moreno, but
I'm inspired by him. Sorry to cut you off.
No, you're good. I don't know. For me, I need to see one more maybe, and then I'm like, all right, this guy might be legit. Top of the division, and then I'm going to pick him to lose against Pantoja or Van, but I don't know.
I like that.
I feel like this is too fast of a climb. I don't know.
I don't know. I just don't think that. I think that Moreno to Royval is the right climb. I actually kind of disagree with you here. I think this is the perfect climb. This is the perfect step up. It's not too far. You're not going against a Van or really Pantoja, which is really that's all there is above this. And
Kopp
I think
is up there now.
Kopp is also up there, and I think Kopp is one of the special ones too. I think those are the 3 special ones in this division. Tyra, I still believe in you, but I need to see a good win.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. I think that's
well, Tyra beat Moreno.
Tyra did beat Moreno. All right, that's a great point. But Tyra narrowly lost to Royval. It was such a great fight. I loved that fight. Oh my god, I want to rewatch that. I hope that's in the Brandon Royval fight marathon.
It's probably in his it's probably his free fight of the week if they do go that far down the card.
I hope so.
All right, but you're still going with Royval decision if you had to pick.
I mean, if you're going with Royval, I kind of like I'm a believer in Loner. I'm only betting on Royval because I like him as a person and I want to see him win. I believe in Loner. I will put that out there. I could be wrong.
I do like to go the distance minus 150. I feel like that's a good parlay piece. I don't know. I feel like Royval survives. I don't know.
I like that. I like that.
Out of there, but who knows?
I like that.
All right, we continue on. One of your favorite divisions to talk about is the bantamweight division. Corey Sandhagen, coming off of his loss to Merab, now gets back in there and faces off against Mario Bautista, who has also kind of fought the who's who of the division. So super interested to hear your thoughts on this one because I feel like you have a bird's eye view on this division. What do you think happens here? Corey Sandhagen and Mario Bautista.
I mean, this is a huge fight for Mario Bautista. This is a fight that he brought it up in the embedded, and he has been calling out this fight literally since his UFC debut. He's been wanting Corey Sandhagen. And it's, I think, a fight that he's going to just lab too much. I mean, Corey Sandhagen is also someone that goes into the lab and cooks when it comes to a game plan against a fighter. Doesn't always pan out. You know, sometimes he gets that freaky ass submission from, who was that, Umar? Where he just kind of sat down on his own knee and just snapped it.
That was Figueiredo, yeah.
That was Figgy. That's who it was. But I don't know. Corey Sandhagen is someone that I want to see do a lot. Do more of this kind of fighting the up and comers versus going for a title shot. I just don't think he's that exciting of a title challenger, but I think he's a great gatekeeper, which I think is kind of disrespectful for me to say at number 4. I can understand that, but when you look at this division, I don't think
the line is long now because you've got
the line. Yeah, you got O'Malley now too, which is
Jan's getting I'm assuming Merab's getting the rematch against Jan, and then once that's figured out, you have O'Malley probably getting the next shot after that. Unless Merab wins, maybe they don't do that, but I don't know. And then Umar, I think Umar got booked against somebody, but
yeah,
I could be wrong on that, but I don't know. Yeah, it's a tough division right now to get into the title contention. So I'm glad that this fight is happening. We've already seen Mario lose to Umar, so I don't know. Who knows what happens? You're going with, you think Sandhagen though?
I do think I'm going with Sandhagen just because. No. Oh, no. I'm not going with Sandhagen. I'm going with Bautista. I do think he's going to lab. I'm going with my original thought. I know that Corey Sandhagen labs a lot. Corey Sandhagen is a little bit older. Mario Bautista, again, has been literally calling out this fight since his UFC debut. There's something about Corey Sandhagen's style that he wants to fight. Obviously, the number is also great, but I think the style is the reason why you call someone out. The number is secondary. Well, no, the number is probably primary, but when you're first coming up, the style is up there. And so I think he thinks that Corey Sandhagen is beatable. Why else would you call him out like that so many times? So I think this is something that I like, even though I don't love Mario Bautista. Like, the fact that he's plus money is kind of good. All right. He beat my guy, Vincius Oliveira, in that last fight.
He's good. I mean, I feel I tried to oppose him, but he beat Aldo. He beat
that Aldo fight is what originally made everyone oppose him.
Yeah.
That
was
the worst fight
necessarily, but
that was one of the worst fights in UFC history.
Decision wise, yeah. But
yeah,
and the way he boring did that. But yeah, I think you've got that fight where he got the win. I mean, it shows he can get wins when he needs to. And then the fight against Patchy Mix, everyone thought Patchy Mix was going to be some crazy fighter. Obviously, he's kicked out of the UFC, so I don't know how much value that holds now. But he fought Umar pretty well in that Gon versus Aspinall card. Like, I think he almost took a round off him, and I feel like that was a pretty impressive one right there. And then the win over Vinicius was dominant. So
yeah,
I'm going to go with Mario. It's just more of like a what have you done for me lately situation, and I've actually I feel like I've gotten a decent amount of tape on Mario Bautista, and I like the way he fights. I feel like he always is, like you said, labbing for that win. So I think this is a good underdog shout at plus 120. And Sandhagen, I think, will have the public's backing, and I think it's going to come down to decision, probably a 29-28, whoever wins it. But I like this fight I think this will be an interesting stylistic matchup to see as well. Like, how do they both handle this and who tries to do what? But I think this is a Mario win, and then Mario moves himself into that top 5. And then maybe he faces, like, I looked it up, and Umar's fighting Song Yadong, so maybe he gets, like, the loser of that. Well, yes, he already fought Umar, but if Song Yadong loses, maybe he gets that sort of situation. But I like Mario underdog here, and I think he wins by decision. Do you think there's a potential for Mario finish here, or you lean in decision as well?
No, God, no. Yeah, no, I think it's a Mario Bautista decision. I think it's kind of one of those things. What did Moicano say? I think it was about Dustin Poirier or Max Holloway, where he was like, it's like when you see a turtle in the tree. Why the hell is Corey Sandhagen number 4? All right. Like, I think he is great, but I think in the bantamweight division, it's kind of a perfect kind of.
Wasn't he number 5 when he fought? Did someone leave the bantamweight division? Because I thought he was like number 5 when he fought Murad. I could be wrong on that. Or maybe
I think
3.
someone moved down crazy style I think Figgy moved down crazy style when he lost to Umar. So I think that bumped a bunch of people up. But yeah, I think it's like a turtle in the tree kind of moment, like Moicano said. I just don't, and nothing against Corey Sandhagen. I love his style. I think he's one of the coolest bantamweights. He's one of the people that made me fall in love with the bantamweight division. There's also a cool YouTube documentary about Corey Sandhagen that you should definitely watch. It was pre-Aljo title fight when he ended up losing to Aljo, but it was to hype up that fight. But yeah, I think Corey Sandhagen's got an awesome style, cool personality, but I just think Mario Bautista is on that rise, and Corey Sandhagen is kind of on that, not full decline, but kind of finding his right spot as a veteran in the UFC to be kind of like a number, more like a 7 or an 8 or a 9, fighting the 15s, the unranked fighters coming up into the bantamweight division.
All right. Well, the next fight is the hardest one for me to have predicted. I don't know what's going to happen, and I still have no idea what's going to happen. Really? But we got Benoit Saint Denis versus Paddy Pimblett. You see a vision here? What do you got?
Have you seen it? Benoit Saint Denis' staff?
He's got staph infection.
Almost all, like always, bro. I don't know what they have on those French mats, but he gets it so much. Look up the picture; it's on his ankle. And it was pretty, it was like a week and a half ago. I'm surprised the line is still this close. I really think Paddy Pimblett at plus money. He just had a war and lost to the champion who just beat Ilia Topuria. I think this is a Paddy Pimblett win. It's his first 3-round fight since Gaethje and I think Chandler was 5 rounds. What was this? What was his other 5-round fight? Yeah, Michael Chandler was 5 rounds. So yeah, I really like this fight. I really like this fight. Yeah, that staff is gross. It's disgusting. It's obvious.
What do you say about his quote though? I don't have staff.
He's just lying. Yeah, I think Paddy Pimblett at plus money is already tasty. The fact that Benoit has staff is going to be even more tasty. I feel like it's just going to be easier for Paddy.
What are some examples of when somebody's had staff and just lost a fight? Like what pops to your head?
Oh my goodness. That's a great question because I always forget about the fact that they had staff like right when the fight starts. But that's a great question. I think
I feel like this is a trap I fall into too, where it's like, oh my god, he's a little staff on his arm or something, and then it just doesn't even end up mattering. And a week, how long does it take to recover from staff?
Well, it's not the recovery; it's the fact that you get put on those antibiotics. Which just make it so your cardio is not as good. And I think Benoit is already someone who really starts off strong, and Paddy's team has been saying how they want a round 2, round 3 win because they think that Benoit's just going to gas out early, which I agree with. I think that Benoit is going to overexert. He's going to think that he's going against a Beneil Dariush, but Scalzos don't get knocked out, so I don't think that he's going to just clobber him like he did Matt Frevola or It could be Moicano's situation where he just bloodies him up, and then it's just too much for him, and it's just an easy win. But I just don't see it that way. I do see a Paddy Pimblett sub or decision, maybe KO. Who knows? Sub or decision though.
I like Benoit. I don't know. I feel like Benoit's been on a good run. The Dan Hooker fight, he looked pretty good, and then with Paddy, I did like the Gaethje performance, how he hung in there. I don't know if the problem for me is I want to take Benoit, but I just don't like. I'm having trouble trying to see the way he gets it done because I feel like he's not going to knock him out, and I know Paddy is pretty good, dangerous on the ground, so it would probably have to be a decision. And I just don't see this fight going to decision. But I don't want to pick. I don't know, but I can't see Paddy doing it either. This is going to be a hard one to pick.
I do see Paddy doing it. That's the thing.
I don't.
I just think Benoit's shown holes, and I think Paddy Pimblett has shown less holes.
Yeah, I mean, Gaethje did kind of put a masterclass on him, though. I feel like
he put a masterclass on him, but he stayed in there. And Justin Gaethje then did that against Ilia Topuria.
That's true.
Which, can we not disrespect Gaethje right now?
I'm not. No, I'm just saying. I'm saying that he looked. I like.
He
Gaethje.
looked great, and nobody looked like that against. Nobody looked that good against Topuria or Paddy Pimblett.
Yeah, but Paddy hadn't really,
Well, you say this though, but
Michael Chandler lost to Jared Gordon.
He did lose to Jared Gordon, but his win over Michael Chandler was very dominant, similar to Gaethje over Paddy Pimblett.
But Chandler's one. It's his whole hard pick because his one wins Dan Hooker, and I'm hyping up Benoit over the Dan Hooker.
That's what I mean. It's tough. This is a toss-up, and I'm going with the guy that I think has the tools to get the win. Like you're saying, how it's hard to pick who's going to win. I just see Paddy Pimblett has the tools, the submission skills, the chin to be able to stay in there. And I think other than that, they're very equal fighters. But
this would be a great fight, I think.
I think exactly. I think this is fight of the night. And I think Paddy Pimblett. I just totally see it happening. I don't know. Maybe I'm crazy, but I don't know. I just don't see how Benoit Saint Denis does it, personally.
Here we go. Submission. I'm going Benoit submission.
Okay, that would be crazy. That's got to be plus crazy money for
plus
Benoit.
330. Sam is knockout for Benoit, so fuck it. We're riding.
Okay, I like that.
I don't know. This is a confusing fight. I just want to have something on. I want to have a side, and I like Paddy, but I would be more interested to see Benoit make a run now because he's kind of older. I feel like Paddy is this time. He's always got the Ilya matchup whenever he wants it, probably. And I feel like if Paddy loses, or I feel like whoever loses this, the next matchup, take them to win next time because they're going to be slightly down in the rankings. This is just a tough fight for both of them. I think this is going to be a great fight. Hopefully, like you said, fight of the night ends early. I think Benoit maybe stumbles Paddy, gets him and he was in moments against Gaethje, whereas he was nearly knocked out. I think maybe he catches in one of those moments, where Paddy's kind of fumbling a little bit, and then he's able to pull off a sub there. That's what I'll go with, Benoit. And we'll say late second round, bloodied up. They're both bloodied up. But I could see Paddy. This is, like I said, for prefacing this fight, this is the toughest one for me to pick. I might flip flop before this fight even starts. But right now, we're going with Benoit by submission, late round 2.
Paddy Pimblett sub round. I'm gonna go round 2 as well. I think it's round 2 sub. It could be a round 3 sub. I could. Okay. You know what? I'll go with a gassed Benoit Saint Denis sub Paddy Pimblett. Paddy Pimblett subs a gassed Benoit Saint Denis 3rd round.
Okay. Can see that happening. Now it's time. The Mac is back. The Mac is back. 5 years out of the game for Conor McGregor. Was supposed to fight in 2024, I believe, against Michael Chandler. The toe incident. I guess the footage of that actually came out. I don't know if that was AI or no. I don't know what I was looking at.
I did not see that footage.
Yeah, that might have been fake. I don't know what I was looking at. His Twitter, so who knows? But it's Conor McGregor, Max Holloway. Max hasn't had Max is coming off of a terrible loss to Charles, where he got wrestled for 5 rounds. Yeah. Was not able to do much there. It's a rematch. When was the first time they fought? 2013, 2014? Yeah, it was
13 years ago. Yeah,
13 years ago. And it's, they say McGregor.
People.
They say McGregor fight weeks are crazy. And I to be honest, I haven't felt it yet. I don't know if it's because he's like not being a part of the press yet, or he hasn't done the press conference. He's not. He, like you said, he wasn't even embedded at least the first episode, but he was in the second one, right?
Third. Second episode, he wasn't. The first 2 episodes, they were pissed because he wasn't in the.
Okay, so third one.
And he did have that hype thing during UFC 250 or whatever that was.
That was actually, that was probably the best moment to me so far of this lead up of them.
The Zoom meeting was actually kind of hype.
Them just yapping, and that was hilarious. I'm
excited for this presser. Barely yapped. It was just a Conor masterclass of just yelling into a microphone.
I don't know if it was a masterclass, but it was something. It was something.
That's just what he's a masterclass at doing. It's not great, and it doesn't always sound great, but it is Conor McGregor. And
I gotta rewatch that before this fight. But all right, we've done the building up. The true question, and I ask you as an MMA expert, our UFC expert, the dope guys. Does Conor McGregor have a fighting man's chance in this fight 5 years out of the game? After all he's been through, you mentioned some of the off-the-ring allegations and crimes that he's committed. We don't need to get into all that, but, there's drugs involved. There's presumably a lot of alcohol involved. There's questions of character. There's questions of training. Does he stand a chance in this fight against Max Holloway, or is this just going to be kind of an obvious one?
I think he really does stand a real fighter's chance, like a real chance. I think people are really I think people are really underlooking the weight difference of 180 versus 155, I believe Max was at before. And 180 is going to be massive. And I just, the pictures that you see of Max, like he still looks good, but I think it's going to be tough for sure. It seems a little bit Alex Pereira-y, where they're fighting at someone's natural weight and the other person's kind of bulking it up to fight at that weight class. Now, Gon did cheat, so let that be known. But who says that Conor McGregor doesn't cheat? He's actually pretty decently good when he's in the octagon.
Well, we know he cheats, outside the octagon.
Yeah, I was about to say, inside the octagon, I feel like he's actually pretty decent when it comes to not committing fouls. This is a tough one to predict for me because the weight thing has been huge on my mind, and I think I just don't know how Max Holloway is going to look at 180. I don't know how well his fight style transfers. I definitely don't want to stay him. I definitely don't want to see him stay at this weight class. A lot of people have been saying, I saw a really good video broken down on Instagram of just how his body frame is at lightweight and how it would be at welterweight, because you're going against Ian Gary's, you're going against freaking Carlos Praches, you're going against all the Michael Morales. Yes, thank you. Like those are tough. Those are lanky guys that just pretty much have a better build than Max in terms of for that weight class. I think Max Holloway has a great build for the lightweight in the lightweight and the featherweight weight class. So I think this is tough. I think this is a really tough one to bet on. And Conor McGregor is more of a lightweight and a flyweight, but he's had that time at 180. He's had that time. I believe it was against Diaz both times for probably, I think, at 180. But he also just spent 5 years bigger than probably he's ever been in terms of weight. So I think he's going to be used to that. And I think people are kind of, in terms of the other drug stuff, absolutely, he should be hugely criticized for it. I think the steroid stuff is actually the one thing that he did right during this whole thing, was when he destroyed his leg, was kind of take himself out of testing pool, take himself out of the UFC, take himself out of MMA, put all the steroid, all the illegal stuff that you need to fix your freaking leg up, where you can't be using that and compete. Then took all the time to get it out of his system so he could compete. I think it's the right way to do it. It's kind of the only way to kind of fix something like that when it's that detrimental into when it's into having to be able to use it at that same caliber as you had to before. Which I think that's something that both of them are going to be really happy about, is not having to worry about ground game too much. I think if any of them shoot a takedown, that should be plus 1,000. Is plus 0.5 takedowns from either of these dudes.
It'll
I can
probably
see it
be
happen.
just out of like necessity to like survive.
Exactly. I can see it happening, but it's just, I think that shows who's losing the fight. Whoever shoots that first takedown, unless it's in the first round, one of the first exchanges, and it was actually part of their game plan this whole time, then that's really, I'm excited. I'm just so excited to see this fight. I probably throw a little bit of money on McGregor because my friends are just huge McGregor fans. Just make the night great. But regardless, I think this is just going to be a really good fight. I really wish that this was on the White House because it is kind of a
yeah. Well, they can't do it because if they had McGregor on the way, like McGregor's just a free pay-per-view to get mad.
That's true. 100%. That's true. That's why they didn't do it.
He doesn't when he's never on the big ones because they can just put him right after and it's huge,
It's true.
Yeah,
it's true. And I looked at the top UFC. It is insane how far you have to scroll before you don't see Conor McGregor's name. Like for the top cards sold. It's kind of.
What is the best-selling card besides him?
Besides him, I think it was UFC 100, pay-per-view wise.
Okay.
Which it's tough because then you have to think about Stream East era, and now you have to think about Paramount era, which that does skew a lot.
Yeah, I mean the stream. Yeah, who knows? Who knows if they'll ever really have the? I mean, according to Dana, he shut down all the streaming sites every press conference.
He did that 4 years ago, and I watched it for 3 years allegedly.
Yeah.
On those websites, and so we'll see.
Well, I've had a birdie telling me McGregor 4th round KO.
Really?
But I don't like that. I don't see that happening.
I like that. I like a McGregor, maybe not a 4th round KO. I think
there's no way this fight goes 4 rounds.
I think it totally could, just because McGregor might get gassed, and Holloway's just a volume puncher. He's not.
I guess. Well, yeah, Holloway hasn't been chinned besides the Deperia fight, right?
Yeah, so I think this is a McGregor kind of. I mean, their first fight went to decision. I thought McGregor's. It is a beautiful boxing matchup. It is a counter puncher versus a volume puncher. And Max Holloway, his volume punches are going to get countered by Conor's counters, and it's just whether any of those catch Max, which. Now that he's been chinned, it's going to be kind of a different story. And then McGregor's just obviously you don't know how he's going to look after all this time. I'm just so excited just to watch this fight. I'm just going to sprinkle some money on it. Nothing crazy. I just want to watch it. It's going to be awesome. I can't wait for the press conference tomorrow. It's going to be sick. Can't wait.
I think Max. I think it's too. I think I'm gonna be pissed myself if Max wins this by first round knockout and I don't take it. I think that's the way this goes. And it's gonna be one of those ones where it's the same thing as the last pay-per-view we were both together, where I bet on Comms up and I was like, I hope Sean wins. It would just be hyped to see that happen. Where if McGregor wins, the possibilities are endless on what can possibly happen for him.
That would be just insane.
Yeah.
That would shake up everything. Dude, if he wins, him versus Islam will be the biggest MMA fight ever. Ever. If Islam ever accepts that, if Conor ever accepts that, what I think they both would is the crazy part.
Islam's got to get through Ian Machado Gary first, bro.
Fuck him. Fuck him. Who cares if Ian wins? Who cares if it's got to be for a belt? It's got to be for a belt. Yeah. That would be so cool.
I hate to be the pooper of a parade, but I think Max wins this. I think first or second round knockout. I mean, the last time I saw McGregor, he just got destroyed by Poirier. Max beat Poirier. I mean, it's years later, but McGregor's coming off of a 5-year layoff. It seems impossible to me. And if you're on my side betting Max, wait for as long as possible because everyone's going to keep betting on McGregor. I think this number already came down from plus 250. So just wait for that for Max. But yeah, I mean, I don't know if I'm rooting for McGregor, but I think it'd be so interesting to see him win. I know he has one fight for sure left in his contract. Who knows if he wants to re-sign after that. But I mean, maybe if he loses, you still have opportunities out there. Maybe book him against Chandler, get him that last win before he maybe goes and does boxing for millions of dollars. But I just can't rationalize betting Conor McGregor. So I'm going to go with Max Holloway, first round knockout, switch it up from the second round that I've been saying all night. But your official prediction?
My official prediction is going to be What I'm going to actually bet on is Conor McGregor money line. My prediction and what I think will be right. Oof. I see it going so many ways, but I'm going to go actually Max Holloway round 5 KO.
Whoa.
I think it's going to go
Into
to
the
round
depths.
into the depths. Maybe round 4 I could see, but I think it'll be around 5. Oh yeah, dude, I could totally see Max Holloway getting away with the point at the ground at the end of first round and Conor McGregor's walking
Sure,
in.
why not?
But I just don't know how Max Holloway's power is going to be at 180 because there's a chance that he actually has crazy power now that he's 180. But I just don't know how much weight he's put on and how he put on that weight. He did it great for feather.
Look how he moved up to lightweight.
Exactly.
He got the knockout over Gaethje.
He did an amazing build up to lightweight, but this is a different type of step.
Yeah.
Like, we're just gonna have to see. Like, we don't even know really how Islam looks at welterweight. He looked dominant against JDM for sure, but it's like
JDM's kind of small for the division now.
Exactly. So you don't really know how he's going to look for that Ian Gary fight. So it's tough.
We'll be here to talk about the Ian Gary fight.
Yes, sir.
All right. Well, we got through it all. International Fight Week. I'm as excited for this one as I am for almost any. Like, this is top tier feelings. I'm excited to continue on, see more about this fight week, the build up, see McGregor be there for his walkout first time in 5 years. It'll be crazy to see just everything going down.
Foggy Dew's gonna go crazy, guys. Oh my god. The amount of times my boy Joey would play that at the hangout from middle school all the way until college. Just throw on Foggy Dew. Gets a crowd going.
We've got 3 days and a couple hours until we make it there. Let's just hope, everything goes well. So we'll got our fingers crossed that we don't get a
backup. We should throw a little backup prediction because I think the backup's Roofy, right?
Is that confirmed?
I saw rumors.
At welterweight? I'll look it up.
Yes. I saw rumors that it was Roofy.
Okay. Let's see. McGregor, Holloway backup fighter. Yep, it is Hoofy. So, all right. In under like 10 seconds.
Holloway versus Hoofy because we know that Conor McGregor is going to be the one that falls out.
Okay, that's fair to say.
If anyone. We don't need to do Conor versus Hoofy.
They're
so similar, though.
I think Hoofy versus Max, I'd take Max by like 50 or not 50, 48-47 decision, Max all the way over Hoofy.
Yeah, I really like that actually because I don't think either of them get knocked out. Yeah, I really like that. I think Max Holloway, 48-47, maybe even more dominant. I think maybe there's a round like a round 5 or something where Roofy's so beat up he does the Ortega thing where Holloway's holding his hand, showing him how to defend, type thing. Yeah, I think it's gonna be. I think it would be a much more of a war when it comes if it was Hoofy Max.
That still would be a great fight. I mean, it
would still be
wouldn't be McGregor. It'd be great. All right, well, let's wrap up. Do you have a parlay prepared for us?
Parlay. Oh my goodness, yes, that's a great question. I do have a parlay built for us. And that parlay starts towards the bottom of the card where I'm going with my gal, Tracy Cortez. And I'm also throwing in Ryan Gandra. Throwing Ryan Gandra because I do believe in him. Ryan Gandra, Tracy Cortez. Then we go up to Luke Riley. Now this is a big parlay, guys. Whittaker. Under rounds on Green McKinney. And then I think I'm only gonna I'm gonna go with Paddy and Mario. Paddy and Mario. This is just a crazy value parlay.
There's a lot of stuff on there.
Get out the hood. Follow if you dare, just to put it in more, just to get it real quick. Paddy, money line. Mario Bautista, money line. McKinney versus Green, under rounds. Robert Whittaker, money line. And then Tracy Cortez, money line. And then Luke Riley and Ryan Gandra, money line as well.
All right. I'll throw out 3 parlays. So for the main card, we're going to go with Holloway, Benoit, Mario, and McKinney. That should be pretty good odds right there. Then we got the prelim parlay. We'll go with Costa, Gandra, Riley, and Whittaker. And then for the distance parlay, we'll take these 3 fights to go the distance. Sandhagen Bautista, Kavanaugh Royval, and then the classic Cortez versus Wang. So those 3 fights to go the distance. And those will be the 3 parlays that I'm rocking with for UFC 329.
Tough.
Best of luck to all the people out there, the fans. This is it's been a great year to be an MMA fan, really. Like Strickland wins the belt, crazy upsets. White House card, now we got a McGregor fight card. We got Islam defending the belt coming up. I mean, we got crazy shit going on. So make sure to stay tuned to the Dubcast. We'll have some more predictions as the year unfolds further, and we have a lot more fights that we can definitely talk about as they unfold. So Shane, as always, you sticking around, are still doing the Twitch streams. And
Twitch is happening this Sunday. I entered first time since retirement. Shane is coming out of retirement. We are entering an Overwatch tournament. Me and my buddy Lucy are entering a 2v2 tournament, which, if you know Overwatch, is not how it usually played. If you know ball, it's a Reinhardt Ana only 2v2 tournament, and it's 64 people. It's only for $100. Some random content creator that I found is throwing it, and I probably will be streaming it during that time. It's going to be off the chizane. All right, join for some good times. All
right,
Shizzy.
We'll plug you in the description. We'll have your links in the description. Thanks as always for joining me today, and we'll see you guys in the next one. I guess we'll be looking at UFC 330 most likely, so we'll be back for that. Hopefully we made you all a bunch of money